Flash looks like he's going to move out and go right for Jaedong's main, I guess. I don't know where else he'd go.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously not going for that base because he has no idea it's there. It looks like these hidden expansions have been a really good play for Jaedong. I mean,
he scanned it.
Oh no, and he scans it now. But the lurkers are gonna get there in time. I mean, they're behind now, but he's probably gonna be able to delay the Marines just long enough.
This is gonna be close.
Lurkers burrowed. It is gonna be close, but I think he's gonna be able to
go
at least,
up the ramp,
if not
Flash.
get the. Oh man, he needs to run up there. Oh man, a lot of Mutalisks going down. Oh, this is definitely not in time. If he gets a good surround on these lurkers, then they're gonna hatch, but they're gonna die as soon as they get burrowed. Oh man, oh nice control by Jaedong there, and
that was yeah,
really
excellent
clutch.
Mutalisk control. That was the only thing that kept that base alive, was just those Mutalisks. I mean, wow, that was excellent defense there from Jaedong. I did not expect him to hold that for that long.
Yeah, neither did I. I mean, he lost a lot of Mutalisks there, but I mean that was definitely worth it. Getting a third gas that early and being able to hold it, I mean that's just huge for Jaedong. Although, like again, he's gonna have a hard time dealing with this. Like he's gonna have to have map control the entire game in order to hold on to this base. I mean, it's gonna be much easier to have map control because he got that third gas, but still, I mean, it's really just such a risky move. Although, I mean, right now things are looking good for Jaedong. I mean, everything he's been doing has been working out so far. Even though he hasn't done a massive amount of damage with his Mutalisk harassment, he definitely did slow Flash down. But Flash is going to have a huge army in the mid game because the most important, even though Jaedong took out a lot of Mutalisks, which does slow down the economy a little bit, the most important part is the Marines. He did not take out very many Marines. As you can see here, the result of that is Flash just has a gigantic force of Marine medic that he can use to push across the map now and put pressure on Jaedong.
Yeah, and Jaedong is just so good at playing against Flash. I mean, that's like almost one of his specialties. He's doing it so much, but I mean, one thing to note, at least from a Terran's perspective, is you saw Flash went for the SK Terran. He lifted his factory off and is going for science vessels, and I think he put down that second starport in anticipation of Guardians, like I said. I mean, as a Terran player, my read from what Jaedong was doing was going for a Guardian build, and wow, Jaedong sneaking a lot of Mutalisks in there, continuing to produce Mutalisks. Flash forced to pull Marines back. Just so many Marine kills, but Jaedong's going to lose a lot of these Mutalisks, and I think this is going to make Flash think that Jaedong might still try, and he's going to get the science vessel. Oh wow, that was close. I cannot believe that Flash kept that alive. That was huge. That was huge. And now it looks like there's no way Flash is going to try and push up that ramp. I'm not sure what he's doing there, but you know, Flash really played into his hands. I mean, he doesn't have any tanks, and now Flash is really struggling to do any sort of pressure on Jaedong. You see Flash scanning around the map. He's hoping that Jaedong is going to get greedy and take some sort of base, you know, off to the side that he can kill, but Jaedong just kind of sitting behind lurkers, you know, building up his third gas, waiting for defilers, and there's not a lot Flash can do. I mean, Flash, once his vessels come out, he's going to have a small time window where he can do some damage, you know, if he decides to go try and kill the third base, or if he wants to go for the main, but it's going to be difficult with all these lurkers out on the field, and there's the vessel already. And Jaedong continuing to build Mutalisks and Greater Spire, so he is actually going to go for Guardian, so almost like going for heavy muta and then switching to lurker to defend and then going back to Guardian. You usually don't see that. I mean, that delays the Guardians quite a bit, but it looks like it's working out pretty well for Jaedong.
Well, I mean, it's really not going to work out too well because Flash went for an SK Terran build. So, I mean, having a huge mass of science vessels is going to pretty much destroy Guardian. Like, you can't really use Guardians against two starport vessels.
Right, I guess that is a good point. Because it's delayed.
I can see the point of the strat. I mean, like, yeah, to tell you the truth, I'm really surprised that Flash did go for an SK Terran build because it seems like if he had built a couple of tanks, he'd be able to shell the lurkers on that ramp and take out that base. And Jaedong probably expected that that's what Flash would do. He probably expected him to build some tanks so that he can kill that third base, and then he's going to be able to use Guardians. But Flash decided not to do that, strangely enough. I mean, I was wondering why he chose not to build a tank. I mean, just 2 tanks right here, and he would already have killed this base. If he had built only 2 tanks, this third base would have already died to Jaedong. Because he has all these Marines and medics, but he just can't do anything. Because if he tries to go up the ramp, they're just going to get massacred. I mean, even if he had some tanks, he would have been able to put pressure on the sunken colonies at Jaedong's main. It looks like he's really just decided to take the hit, let Jaedong have his gas, and just build up a huge, massive army and get his own third. Which he hasn't done yet, but I'm assuming that's why he's killing the temple there. Okay, he's going to use a radiate to clear out those lurkers, which is going to work just fine.
He's got stacked lurkers.
It's gonna take forever.
I think he was hoping that Flash was going to try and push up that. He had, because you saw the lurker died, and then there was another lurker under it, and Guardian's out now for Jaedong. Wow, and I can't. So still, there's lurkers there. I don't think Flash even knows. But one thing, there goes the Guardians. But Flash totally ready for that with the vessels, and Flash needs to pull back his vessels. And you know what? Excellent control there from Flash. That was just a perfect move.
Oh, wow.
And Jaedong only with 2 lurkers there, and Flash taking a lot of damage. He's moving up the ramp though. All the Guardians are clear, and Flash is going to be able to take out this third base. This is terrible for Jaedong. He was relying on those Guardians heavily, but this is really, out of all the things that people say about Flash, I mean, sure, he's got great macro, but my opinion is the thing that separates him from other Terran players in TVZ is his vessel control. And I mean, he pretty much just swung the game around completely there with just an excellent execution of a third base break with those vessels. And actually, Jaedong moving in, but Flash just, there's the macro kicking in. Reinforcements coming right away. Jaedong sighing. I think Jaedong just lost both of his expansions, and Flash still, I don't think Flash has lost a single vessel yet this game.
No, he definitely hasn't. His vessel control has been pretty much fucking perfect. I mean, GG,
Wow.
there goes GG. I can't believe how fast this game swung around. I mean, it looks like Jaedong was doing everything right, and those Guardians were just a disaster of a move. I mean, if he had just built the Filers, been able to get up a Darkstorm and hold that base, and Jaedong just looks crushed. I don't think I've ever seen him look so depressed, to tell you the truth.
He must have been feeling pretty high, he must have been riding on cloud 9 after that win versus Firebat Hero. I mean, I would say Firebat Hero, at least in the TVZ matchup, is just as formidable as Flash is, but, I mean, excellent play from Flash. I mean, Jaedong went for a really strong build order, had some good Ling run buys, and I mean, that's Flash. I mean, that's why he's Flash. I mean, it's just this rock solid play. I mean, a player like that you just can't knock a player like that out.
Yeah, I mean, you know what though, like, I have to keep thinking, I mean, I might be wrong here, but it just seems to me that Jaedong's whole game plan was to kind of bait Flash into going tanks instead of starport, instead of dual starport, and then using Guardians to kind of crush him because he went for tanks instead of dual starporting. Flash just totally didn't bite. Like, and I have to wonder, is it because Flash just failed to adapt and he played like a robot, or is it because Flash anticipated that? I guess we'll never know. I mean, if Flash anticipated that, then it's pretty much a stroke of genius. And if he just kind of played like a robot and he didn't adapt to Jaedong's bait, and I mean, you could almost say that he got lucky in that sense. But I mean, we'll never know. It's entirely possible that he saw this coming, and that's why he still went dual starport. I mean, what can you say? I mean, I kind of feel sorry for Jaedong. I think he had a great game plan, but Flash, just a great player. Just really just played so well. I mean, the vessel control, the marine control, and the macro were spot on, regardless of how it came about. You just can't argue against that.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say except that, I'm just going to hype this up more, and this is why I love the high end of these tournaments. I mean, this just, how much metagame went into this one single game. I mean, I've seen best of threes that were more stale than just this one single game. I mean, how both players changed, how they adapted, how they read the other player. I mean, this is what separates a good tournament player from just a good player. I mean, both of these guys played just so strong, but so smart as well. And I'd like to say that Flash played perfect and he anticipated what Jaedong's doing. I mean, sure, he is a robot, but I mean, he's a motherfucking robot. Like, SK Terran can be good against
like a badass
but
robot.
I think, yeah, and I don't know. I would have loved to see these guys play a best of three. I would have, and this is partially why. I mean, you saw how well Flash kind of anticipated, how well he reacted, and I think one of the things that I like about Flash, and people tend to say it's Turtle Terran, it's this, but just looking at it from a Terran perspective, I mean, he really stayed calm that game. I mean, picture yourself in that situation. You go for a standard 2-base